Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mopping Up Milk Podcast, the podcast where we clean up after ourselves. My name is May and I am your host. And we're back for the second week in a row. It is episode 2, baby. We're here, we're back at it. 2 weeks in a row. Love this for me. Can I keep it up? Yes. We're manifesting yes. This week I am starting to do video for the podcast as well. So you can head on over to YouTube if you like to watch video versions of podcasts. You can chill with me here in my lounge room, all cozy. Or you can just listen to audio on Spotify. Whatever you prefer, go for it. YouTube, though, is youtube.com/moppingupmilk. Very easy. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone for the love on my first episode of Mopping Up Milk and just, all the support everyone's been giving me over on Instagram or just DMing me, just saying that they've tuned in and they love it. It's just really, really kind. Okay. This week, we're going to do a full-blown episode of Mopping Up Milk. Last week was a little bit of an intro. It was short and sweet, but this week we're going to go right into it. So pretty much how these episodes are going to work is I'm going to have pretty much like a little intro. We're workshopping the name, but the intro segment is going to be the weekly spill, where I just talk about the week that was and the highs and lows, what's been happening, a few pop culture references, politics, whatever's been happening in the week. We'll have a little debrief sesh and then we'll go into the topic for the week. This week, I'm talking all things coming into the new year, setting intentions for the year, goals, ins and outs, predictions, and everything in that genre. And then finally, I'm going to end with maybe my favorite segment that is to come. It is called I Am Not Your Mom. And it is like a riff on Am I the Asshole? Like nightmare fuel, just embarrassing stories. Shit that you want to share that's funny, but anonymously. This is the time to do it. Shall we start with the weekly spill? I think we should. Let's do it. Okay, so first major thing to discuss this week is that I'm officially funemployed, which is terrifying. I feel like I should be the CEO of fun employment at this rate. I'm in and out of casual work like crazy. This most recent one was just like a Christmas casual job that I wanted to do to make extra money over Christmas alongside the side hustles. But the side hustles weren't really hustling, so it was mainly just working casually over Christmas. But now there is pressure. I must side hustle my ass off until I get some more work. Funemployed. If you're funemployed and watching this, it is okay. Okay, yes, I'm funemployed. I will keep you updated on that whole situation week by week as we get updates. But right now, funemployed, really dialing into my side hustles and seeing what I can do with them whilst also looking for future work or more work, whatever. If anyone has a job opening, let me know. Okay. Second of all, if you don't know this reference, I need you to get to know, but Heather Gay is a fucking icon. She is a cultural icon, and I don't care what anyone else says. Okay, for those who don't know, I'm going to help you get to know. Heather Gay is one of the housewives of Salt Lake City. Oh my God. This shit's hectic. Oh my God, even if you don't like the Real Housewives franchise, you must watch this episode. It is literally a cultural phenomenon in the reality TV world. Oh my fucking God. Receipts, screenshots, da-da-da. Oh my God, Heather. Heather is a fucking icon. And yeah, that's just the update I have to say. Like, Heather Gay, you are my hero. Oh, so good. So entertaining. For those who say they don't like the Real Housewives or don't like reality TV, I just want to ask, like, are you okay? Because I feel like it's pretty normal to like reality TV these days. It is so entertaining when you need to just fucking switch your brain off from all the bullshit in the world. You can watch the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and see how out of touch they are. It is just amazing. Anyway, lastly, we are taking it on a more serious note now. I don't really want to have to talk about this, but I want to talk about it because I'm so frustrated. Let's talk about the Golden Globes for a second and how Joe Coy needs to be stopped. What the actual, like, guys, this is getting out of hand and ridiculous. If you don't know what I'm referring to the host of the Golden Globes, Joe Coy, who made multiple horrendous jokes about women at the Golden Globes. thinking it was funny. Oh, God, the crickets in the room would just had me cringing. I need to play you guys a TikTok. And this is quite serious. It is a quite serious TikTok. It sums up how I feel about this whole moment, this whole issue. It is by C. Kelly Poetry on TikTok. She has some great stuff, but this is something that I really want you guys to listen to and just hear this girl's take on what Joe Coy did at the Golden Globes.
A man tells a sexist joke at an award show and nobody laughs, but it's not about that, really. The women grimace, polite, silent. They are angry in doses. It's palatable, at least, because after a year that spotlighted powerful women, world tours, forward-thinking directors, the resurrection of cinema, the louder halves of picket lines, it's only fair they know their place, that they come back down to earth tonight. A man tells another sexist joke at an award show, and by the end of the night, there's discourse about whether she reacted too strongly to it, not about whether he deserved the stage or who he is or why we platform men who recycle the same boring bullshit and identify women by their tits. A man tells a sexist joke at an award show, but before that, a writer's room full of men approved it, nodded their heads, laughed, said, "This'll do it. This is comedy. You're sensitive if you don't get it." See, it's funny because Christopher Nolan is sophisticated and Barbie is for women. He told it during the read-through, dress rehearsal, to himself pacing backstage, and not once did a colleague warn him against potential outrage. Then he tells it on television, and nobody laughs, but a few did, didn't they? Because after a year, what we might have thought was progress, we needed a reminder that nothing has actually changed, and we'll talk about this for a minute, but fists weaken when clenched too many times, and morale weakens when we think we can do nothing right, when a man can tell a sexist joke at an award show and pass it off as a bit. A man told a sexist joke at an award show, but it's not really about that, is it?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, let that sink in for a sec. Yeah, that's how I feel about this week. Oh, shit. Anyway, there's been highs and lows, guys, this week, and hopefully maybe a little more of a positive weekly wrap next week, but yikes. Yikes. All right, let's move into what we're talking about this week. Coming into 2024, there's been a lot of talk about goal setting, predictions, where we want to be this year, all of that stuff. I want to talk about my goals. I want to talk about my ins and outs of this year. So I'm going to talk about how my goal setting is going to work this year. I briefly mentioned on last week's podcast that my friend Vivian held a goal setting night where a bunch of girls got together and just wrote down what we want to achieve next year. And I'm just going to run you through how I went about that and how I broke down my goals for next year. And I decided that I'm not going to set a 12-month goal for myself. I'm going to break them down into quarters. So I'm going to have goals for quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. There might be some overall goals that are long term and can't fit into a quarter. But my aim is to have goals for each quarter and break down my big long-term goals into the quarters as well. Like, what little things do I need to accomplish and achieve during that quarter to then get to my big goal at the end of the year? It helps things feel a lot more manageable and palatable, honestly. The thought of a 12-month goal scares the shit out of me. So that's just how I'm going about it. I thought it might be helpful to share, but I'm going to do quarterly goals. So for example, one of my quarterly goals for the first quarter is to do, I hate the name of this. I don't know. I don't like the stigma around the name of 75 hard. There, I said it. But I've decided to do like a 75 soft, which is something that works for me and my lifestyle and still makes me feel like I'm making positive change within a shorter time frame. So the first quarter. So my 75 soft, 75 hard-ish involves listening to a chapter of a book a day because I'm an audiobook queen. I don't like to read. There, I said it. I don't like to read. So I listen to audiobooks. I'm listening to a chapter a day and I'm really enjoying Diary of a CEO at the moment. And I've also just listened to Atomic Habits, which has been really helpful for coming into the new year and setting goals and my priorities on my new habits and how I want to live my life. One thing from Atomic Habits that I learned is sort of, and that I took away from the book, is breaking down what traits I need to exude to become the sort of person I want to be, or to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. Now, for example, it's like, say you want to become a CEO. There's a lot going around that a CEO is the type of person that has a good routine. They get up in the morning, they make their bed, I don't know what the fuck they do. But for example, if you want to be a CEO, maybe you break it down to the little things. Maybe you make your bed every morning. You make yourself feel more put together by doing it. I don't know. It's breaking things down into like the tiniest little habit, the 1%ers, to then get you into a better place and a better mood each day. Anyway, that was just a fun little fact. We get back to it. My 75 hard-ish, I'm listening to a chapter of a book each day. I'm drinking around 2 liters of water a day. I'm doing it by glass because it's easier for me to track on my to-do list. And I like ticking off more boxes. So I'm like, glass 1, glass 2, glass 3. More things ticked off and I feel better about myself. What else am I doing? I'm doing some form of exercise each day. At the moment, it's been long walks because I've had COVID and I haven't been able to do anything else. I went to Pilates for the first time the other day and holy shit, I was humbled. Holy shit. That shit is hard. That makes me burn. Like the past 2 days, I haven't been able to like sit down in the toilet very easily. Let me just say that. It has been rough, but I love it. I remember why I love Pilates so much. It's just such a good workout, but like low impact, good for my knee. If you don't know, I have a really bad knee. I've ruptured my ACL twice and I haven't had surgery for the second rupture yet. So we're walking around on a broken leg. Anyway, so yeah, I'm doing some form of physical activity every day. I'm also doing progress pictures just to make sure I have some sort of tangible evidence of my progress physically. What else? Give me a second. I'm having no alcohol except for pre-planned events. For example, my birthday, I might have a glass of wine on my birthday, but that's all I'm really planning for drinking in the 75 days. I am journaling every day. That is something that I've brought into the new year. Oh my God, I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with journaling, guys. It's my new love, honestly. So I'm doing that every day. I began journaling towards the end of 2023. And my mum picked up on it and then bought me this beautiful journal for Christmas. So I am currently filling that right up. I'm journaling every day and it is such a good outlet for me. I've been going through a lot of things recently. I've got a lot on in my family life, work life, whatever. But it's been such a good outlet for me to just write things down, get it out of my brain before I go to sleep or in the morning when I'm feeling overwhelmed. Highly recommend if you're needing a little bit of mindfulness. I love it. Anyway, highly recommend if you haven't tried journaling, just give it a go. In the beginning, it felt like a little bit of a chore. So I just wrote little bit by little bit, just making sure I do it every day. And it has become a habit. It's been a really amazing habit that I've started. And I'm really happy about it. And it's going great for me so far. I'm feeling like I'm letting some weight off my shoulders and just chucking it in my book and leaving it there. So yeah, that's pretty much all the things I'm doing for my 75 hard-ish. I don't know what to call it yet. I feel weird calling it 75 hard. It just feels too aggressive. And that's not what I'm about this year. My energy is a little bit more softer. I'm looking after myself, but also pushing myself to be a better person. Okay, so that's something that I want to achieve in the first quarter. So then another thing that I'm doing is breaking down one of my long-term goals, which is 52 podcasts this year. So I'm breaking that down into quarters. So quarter 1, I have to achieve 13 podcasts. It just feels less intense for me to think, oh, I've got 13 podcasts in a row to post, rather than saying I've got 52 weeks in a row I've got to post a podcast. It just feels a little more palatable. That's the gist of why I'm doing quarterly goals. Just thought I'd throw it out there in case maybe you guys might like to do quarterly goals. It might feel a bit easier for you to wrap your head around. I know goals can be daunting, very daunting and intense. So yeah, that's just my tip. If you want to take it on board, take it on board. Another major thing I want to achieve this year is putting more effort into my friends. I think I've gone through waves with friendships and you know, I feel like the whole thing of getting into a new relationship, you start to distance yourself from friends. And I feel like maybe I've let that go on for too long. There's been like a few consistents in my life with friends. Like I've got a few close friends that I see regularly and that hasn't changed. But I feel like I could be putting more effort into ones or people I don't see as much and have sort of drifted away from over time, but I still really value their friendship. There's some friendships we're living in 2023, let's be real. But tea, shall I sip? But what I'm saying is I want to put more time and attention into my friendships this year. I want to be intentional with my friends and I want to create really strong bonds. And that's just where I'm at. That's what I want to put forward. I want to prioritize this year is my friendships. And I think it's a really exciting thought to see where my friendships can go this year. Let's talk a little bit about ins and outs of this year. I've seen this going around a lot recently of what we're bringing into 2024 and what we're leaving in 2023. And I'm going to run through a few of my ins and some of my outs. Let's start with the outs, shall we? I'm leaving comfortability out of 2024 in the way of I'm going to push myself. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone and I'm going to try new things and I'm going to do things that will better me for the future. I'm not going to stick in my old routine that wasn't getting me anywhere and was making me feel a little bit shit about myself. Let's be real. Okay, we're leaving comfortability behind. We're leaving behind overthinking / caring too much. I struggle a little bit with this, a lot of bit actually. I'm a big overthinker. I'm not afraid to admit it, but I want to change it. Yeah. Overthinking is a killer, man. It's a lot. That's what my journal's been lovely for. I've been sort of trying to train my brain to sort of strip back these emotions and feelings and be like, okay, what do I know is fact and stop trying to overthink the possibilities of what things could be. It's hard to do, but we're on a journey. I'm going to try and leave that behind. We're leaving out comparison. Holy shit, we're leaving out comparison. That thing really is the thief of joy. Let me tell you that. Comparison, see ya, bye, stay behind. I'm not about it anymore and I don't want to compare myself and make myself feel shit ultimately. Like, what's the point? I really need to take this on board this year because I have had a little bit of a millennial life crisis or Gen Z life crisis. I don't know what it is, but my mid-20 crisis, just the whole being fun employed, not really knowing where I want my career to go, not sure if I want to study again. It's just a lot right now. And I feel like comparison is just going to make me feel even more shit. So we're leaving it behind. I will, I think, go into depth my struggles with where I'm at currently in my mid-20s and the whole mid-20 crisis in a future episode. So if you want to hear about that, let me know. Another thing that's getting left behind is putting others first too much. I mean, there's time and place to put other people first, but I'm meaning in the way of my career. I'm meaning in the way of my self-growth. I'm going to start putting myself first because I feel like I've hindered my self-growth in the past by putting people before myself way too much. It's hard because it is a bit of like a love language for me to like show someone I care so much that I put them before myself. But there's ways to show people you love them without putting them before yourself every single time. And I'm going to figure out those ways and I'm going to start because I had enough of like sitting on the sidelines. I really have had it up to here with sitting on the sidelines and not being in the game. Like, get me in there, coach. Like, I'm ready to show people what I have and my potential and my worth. Like, why not? Why not? What have I got to lose by putting myself first? Not much. So, highly encourage you guys to put yourself first too. I feel like it is very important and I don't do it enough. So that's something that is out for me, is putting others first too much. Now, let's go into our ins. These are fun. These are a bit more lighthearted, the ins, because it's fun and why not? So, ins are to-do lists. Holy shit. I know it's not revolutionary, but to-do lists are my new thing. Oh my God, I make to-do lists my bitch, man. I love them sick. Guys, I've literally been doing them every single day I literally break down my day into tiny little habits that I want to achieve just so I can tick them off. I've literally got brushing my teeth on there because it's just fun to tick off and I feel accomplished. I'm like, look at me, tick, 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 bitch. Yeah, so for example, let me share with you what's on my to-do list today because it just feels so good to tick it off, man. Brush teeth, skincare, make bed, glass 1 of water, glass 2 of water, write new content card for Mopping Up Milk, glass 3 of water, do grocery shopping, record Mopping Up Milk episode, take my vitamins. Like, the possibilities are endless with your to-do list, babies. Like, even if it's the littlest thing, it feels so good to tick off, and I've just been feeling on top of my shit because of this to-do list. So highly recommend to-do lists. Get yourself a cute little journal. Get yourself a cute little pen and romanticize your journaling because that shit is fun. That shit is fire. The next in of 2024 is accountability. I love accountability. I think it shows a lot of character and a lot of emotional intelligence when someone can be accountable. Another thing is matching sets. I'm not over it. And I don't think I'll ever get over it, but nothing like a matching sweat set or like some cute flare leggings with a matching color top. Like, it's so put together, so chic, and it's in for me. I don't care if it's meant to be out or if it's too Y2K. I don't care. It's in rotation for me, just saying. Another one is drinking less. I have had enough of being an emotional drunk or emotional drinker. I've had enough of having a shit time the next day after drinking. I had enough of anxiety. I just had enough. I feel like it brings more negatives than positives. And then it was easy to come to the conclusion that I need to drink less in 2024. I want to be a healthier version of myself. And it's not very good for me, is it? So drinking less. On the odd occasion, I'll have a drink for a special occasion, whatever. My last in for 2024 is investing money. This year is the year of growth in all ways and money included, baby. I want to make that money because living in this economy is bloody hard and I need to start being proactive about the ways I'm investing my money and setting myself up for the future. So highly recommend you explore the idea of investing this year if you haven't already. Okay, slay guys. We got through the ins and outs of 2024. Thanks for sticking with me. Love that. Maybe I will talk about this now. Let's talk about why I'm feeling a little bit lost in my mid-20s and my whole thought process around it. I feel a little ashamed, first of all, for feeling lost in my mid-20s. I feel like I know I'm meant to be like, or people expect you to be like, don't worry, you're so young, you've got so much time ahead of you, you're okay, like, it'll be just fine. But let's be real, I don't feel just fine right now. Like, come on, like, I'm going to feel how I'm going to feel. I know that I've got stuff to work on, but this is where I'm at. I'm feeling a little lost in my mid-20s. I will give you a little bit of a rundown as to why I'm feeling a little lost. I feel as though I haven't cemented myself in a career as of yet, and I feel like getting back to living comparison in 2023, I compared myself to a lot of people last year and a lot of people my age who are doing some really crazy cool things in their careers. I feel a little lost, and that's just the reality right now. I have gone through a bachelor's degree of media and then dropped out in the last year. I got a job in media, thought it was going well, and then got made redundant. I have then tried to fill my spare time with freelance work and casual work, but it all just feels like I'm sort of running in circles and there's no real end goal. There's no real path that I'm following. So this year I'm going to try and figure that out. I've toyed with the idea of going back to study again. I have always liked the idea of education and becoming a teacher, but then the other half of me is screaming to do something creative and fun. It's hard. I feel like this podcast is something that can help me pour my creative energy into and sort of tickle that little itch that I have of the creative side of things, and maybe then explore the idea of education or also disability support is something that I've been very interested in. The reason I am very interested in disability support is, I don't know if I can tell this story. I feel like I get emotional when I tell it, but Long story short, my best friend in primary school when I was in grade 1, 2, and 3 maybe. I'm not entirely sure on the years. But my best friend's name was Tori, and she had Down syndrome. And she had a carer called Helen, who is the most beautiful person I think I've ever met. I grew up watching the way Helen cared for Tori and how she helped me play with Tori, and she helped Tori integrate into able schooling. I just loved Tori so much. And then we sort of grew apart, and I didn't sort of keep contact with her after primary school. And then a couple of years ago, I got the call that Tori had passed away. And it kind of ruined me. It makes me really emotional. I think about her a lot, and I think about the work that Helen did for her and how much I appreciate it, how much love and support she gave Tori, not only Tori, but also me. And it just feels right, and it feels like a job that I would love doing. And so I have applied to do disability support, a diploma in disability support this year, and that's an option for me currently. I am waiting to hear if I get accepted, so maybe that's a path that I go down this year, and I'm not sure yet. I'm really undecided. I need to get deciding because I've got to decide within the next month. So yeah, I might be studying, I might not. I'm going to keep up with this podcast because this is something that I really love doing and something that I have loved doing for a while. I mentioned in the last episode, I used to do a podcast with my friend Claire, and it's just something that I've been itching to do for so long. And I'm being very humbled. I'll be honest with you, it is hard to talk to yourself for like half an hour, whatever. But it's a learning process. It's a learning curve. And I feel like the longer I talk, the easier it gets. But I need to have a topic that I really enjoy talking about. Because the other day I tried to film a podcast and it was about romanticizing your life. And I just couldn't get it to stick. I couldn't get it to flow. And I quickly realized that this shit is hard. But we're here and we're giving it a crack. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Anyway, the way I summarize this whole mid-20 crisis is that this is going to be my mantra. This is like what I'm going to live by this year because I am struggling a little bit. Not being content in one aspect of my life does not mean my whole life is a mess. I might be unsure about my career, but I know I am sure of a lot of other things in my life that are bringing me so much joy. So I'm going to continue doing that and living by that little mantra. And if you're going through a similar thing, then just know you're not alone. That was a lot, guys. I didn't think I was going to get mushy on the podcast this week. Okay, guys, we have pretty much made it to the end of the episode. I was going to have another segment in here, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, which is the I'm Not Your Mum segment. I'm actually workshopping that name. I'm thinking I might call it Grab the Mop. I'm unsure. It's still a work in progress. And for that reason, I'm not going to do this segment this week. I have been fiddling around with it for the past half an hour. I delved into the world of Reddit to try and find an Am I the Asshole to react to. But it just wasn't feeling good. And I kind of want to react to your stories, the listeners. I feel like that's more fun and more authentic. And I don't know, just some of the Am I the Assholes on Reddit are just fucking whack. They're a bit estranged. So no segment this week for I'm Not Your Mum, but pretty much the gist of it is that it's going to be like an Am I the Asshole or a Nightmare Fuel story that you guys send in either with a DM or a voice note. A voice note would be iconic because I can play it and react to it live. Otherwise, just send a DM, but I'm going to read them out and react and give my maybe advice. I'm not really qualified to give the advice, but I'll still give it. But yeah, that's something to look forward to in future episodes. Feel free to send them in on the Mopping Up Milk Instagram and DM me, or on my Instagram, Megan McMahon. And that'll be a super fun way to end the podcast each week. It'll be funny and cringe and yeah, just lots of fun to end the episode each week. So look forward to that. I want to thank everyone again for listening to the second episode of Mopping Up Milk. It's very exciting for me to be doing this weekly and sort of getting the podcast off the ground. As I mentioned, I'm still working on the flow, so please bear with me. Thanks again, guys. I will see you next week. Please head over to Mopping Up Milk Instagram, Mopping Up Milk TikTok. Give me a follow if you'd like to. That'd be lovely. Make sure you download the episode when you listen on Spotify or follow me on Spotify. It's very helpful. And yeah, go over to YouTube if you want to watch the video versions and subscribe on YouTube. Thanks for watching / listening, guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.